where my dad used to be, is her. She wears his face, but the smile is mine. She tells me stories I've never heard, stories about myself, about things I haven't done yet. Each time I try to wake up, I hear the zipper moving.
You are listening to the Fearcast. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
I've always loved the idea of camping alone, not to get away from people exactly, but to get away from everything. Phones, deadlines, expectations. There's a quiet kind of peace in the middle of nowhere. No signal, no screens, just trees and wind and the soft creak of a tent zipper in the dark. I thought I knew what silence was until I found black pines. It was supposed to be a solo trip, my first real break in over a year. I didn't tell anyone except my sister, Lily, that I was going. I didn't invite friends, didn't post about it. I wanted to be completely unreachable. Black Pines was perfect. It wasn't on modern hiking apps, only on an old ranger's logbook I found buried at the back of a visitor's station. A few handwritten notes, faded maps, and one phrase that stood out: avoid the echo zones. The ranger had paused when I asked about it. People don't really camp there anymore, he said. No service, it's easy to get disoriented. I brushed it off. I wasn't worried about getting lost. I've done harder hikes, and the idea of a place no one visits anymore, it called to me. Growing up, Lily and I would go camping with our dad every summer. He used to tell us scary stories by the fire, stories about people who went missing in the woods. He always said, "You don't get lost in the forest gets lost around you." I didn't understand it back then, but I think I do now. Lily stopped camping after Dad passed away. I kept going, alone. I thought it would make me stronger. I thought it would give me peace. I didn't realize it would only bring me closer to something I was never meant to find. The first day was peaceful. I parked near the old trailhead, threw my pack over my shoulder, and walked deeper into the woods. The further I went, the stranger it felt. The wind stopped. The sound of my footsteps felt swallowed, like the trees were listening. The air seemed to press against me, dense and unmoving. I set up my tent near a dry creek bed, cooked my first meal under a sky full of cold, clear stars, and listened to the eerie silence. Around midnight, I heard something slow, dragging footsteps, circling my tent. I stepped out with my flashlight, sweeping the trees, but saw nothing. The sound stopped instantly, as if it knew I was listening. I zipped the tent and tried to sleep, but then I heard my own voice whisper from outside. "It's nothing," my voice. But not me. I froze, too scared to move. I could feel it out there, breathing, just on the other side of the thin tent fabric. The footsteps circled twice more. Then came the sound of something running fast, crashing through the woods. I stayed awake the rest of the night, heart pounding, the weight of something unseen pressing against me in the dark. The second day was worse. I moved campsites deeper into black pines near an abandoned ranger cabin. The shadows stretched unnaturally long, even though the sun was overhead. The air felt heavier here, charged, as if the trees were holding their breath. I found my own initials carved into the bark of trees I hadn't touched, and a circle of rocks carefully arranged in the exact pattern I used at my previous site. It didn't make sense. I spent the day walking in circles, seeing flashes of myself through the trees, always just out of reach. I'd step forward, and she, the other me, would step back, melting into the shadows. I started leaving markers, tying red cloth to branches, stacking rocks in deliberate piles. But each time I doubled back, my markers were gone. In their place, I found items from my backpack, pieces I knew were still zipped up inside. That night, I found dozens of Polaroid photos tacked to the cabin walls. Every photo showed tents, always at night, always taken from outside. In one of the photos, I saw her, a woman who looked exactly like me, her smile too wide, her eyes black voids, her hand pressed against a tent identical to mine. I stumbled back, my breath catching. That's when I heard the voice again. "It's nothing, Claire." It shifted, sometimes my mother's voice, sometimes my sister's, sometimes mine. Always wrong, always too close. I packed my gear and fled, but I wasn't alone. I kept hearing footsteps mirroring mine, soft zippers unzipping just behind me. I found pieces of myself along the trail, my handwriting nailed to trees, my scarf hanging from a branch, even though they never left my backpack. It was following me. It was copying me. The third day, I tried to find the main trail, but everything had changed. Familiar landmarks were gone. Paths looped endlessly. Trees shifted subtly when I wasn't looking. I left markers, but when I doubled back, they had been replaced with new ones. My own journal entries, written in my handwriting, pinned to branches I hadn't touched. They described things I hadn't seen yet, predictions that started coming true. One note said, "You will see her tonight. Unzip the tent." I spent hours retracing my steps, but the forest no longer made sense. Distances stretched, sounds echoed in impossible directions. The sky darkened prematurely, and I realized I was no longer just lost. I was being kept here. The fourth night, I dreamed of unzipping my tent, stepping inside, and seeing myself sleeping there. When I woke up, the tent was set up beside me, zipped, the flap moving slightly as if someone had just left it. I didn't touch it. I didn't dare. On the fifth day, I stopped finding the trail entirely. The trees tightened around me. I started seeing her clearly now, standing in the path ahead, always smiling, always waiting. She would vanish as soon as I blinked, but each time she lingered longer. I began to forget why I was there, what day it was, whether I had already left. At one point, I thought I had escaped. I thought I had driven away. But I woke up on the forest floor, the keys to my car clutched in my hand, mud caked on my boots, with no road in sight. The sixth day, I sat in the dirt and stopped moving. I could hear her breathing behind me, matching my own. I could feel her standing over my shoulder, watching me write notes I didn't remember writing. I saw entire pages filled with her words in my handwriting. Just unzip it. It's nothing. You'll feel better if you just go back. On the seventh day, I saw the trailhead. I saw the parking lot. I saw my car. I ran, fumbled with the keys, and drove until the gas gauge dropped to empty. But it wasn't over. It had followed me. That night, I heard the zipper again inside my apartment. A soft, slow unzip. I spun, but saw nothing. Then the voice came. It's nothing. You'll feel better if you just go back. The following days were a blur. I kept moving, changing hotels, switching towns, but it followed me. I started seeing her in window reflections, hearing my own voice from behind my door. I unplugged everything. I stopped using mirrors. I don't even trust the sound of my own breathing. I tried staying with Lily, but when she answered the door, her voice was mine. It's nothing. You'll feel better if you just go back. I slammed the door and ran. I changed hotels. I ripped the batteries out of everything. Still, I hear it. Zippers, unzipping. Sometimes from the closet, sometimes from behind the hotel curtains, sometimes from the bathroom, where the mirror fogs on its own. I saw my reflection blink when I didn't. I smashed the mirror. The next morning, the mirror was whole again, and written across it in condensation, "You unzipped it." It leaves scraps of my journal on my pillow, pages I've never written. I found my backpack resting against the hotel nightstand, muddy, soaked, torn, but I hadn't brought it with me. I moved to another city, abandoned my life, cut off everyone I knew. Still, I wake up to find a tent set up in whatever room I sleep in. Always zipped, always perfectly clean, always waiting. Sometimes I see her stepping out from behind me in reflections I shouldn't have. Sometimes I hear her speaking with my voice in places I haven't been. I called Lily again today. She said she's been hearing zippers too. She says she's seen her, another me waiting just outside her bedroom window. She says sometimes she wakes up to the sound of her own voice, whispering from inside her closet. It's nothing. I can feel it getting closer. It used to wait for me to fall asleep, but now I hear the zipper moving when I'm wide awake. I see the tent flap quiver when there's no wind. It leaves Polaroid photos on my nightstand, new ones. Photos of me sleeping. Photos of me walking through cities I've never visited. Photos of me standing in front of tents I haven't set up. I don't know how much longer I can resist. Each night, the tent moves closer to my bed. Each morning, the zipper is lower. Each time I hear my own voice whispering, "Just unzip it." Lately, I've started dreaming about my childhood campsites with Lily and Dad, but the dreams are always wrong. The trees lean closer than they should. The campfire burns with a yellow, unnatural flame, and sitting across from me, where my dad used to be, is her. She wears his face, but the smile is mine. She tells me stories I've never heard, stories about myself, about things I haven't done yet. Each time I try to wake up, I hear the zipper moving. Each time I try to run, I find myself back in the tent. I called Lily again tonight. She didn't answer, but I heard breathing on the line. And then, in my own voice, "It's nothing. You'll feel better if you just go back." If you find this story, if you're thinking of going to Black Pines, please stay on the trail. Don't speak to the echoes. Don't trust your own voice. And whatever you do, never unzip the tent.